a group that was gathered to fight for their death, to Fob Flower Party. The man who led them was known as the Undead. Someone who can't die, a berserker player who lived for the sake of killing monsters. No Yunhao, one of the 8 black dungeons in the world. The Dungeon of Abyss, the deepest corner. Fighting tons of strong monsters. That was the place that ended his so-called life of 32 years. As he stood there, he wondered if everyone else who had come with him had met the same fate. But he pushed those thoughts aside and focused on his goal, to defeat the ruler of the abyss. No Yunha stood alone in the darkness of the dungeon. His heart pounding with fear and adrenaline, he couldn't see anything. But he knew that the ruler of the abyss was near. He couldn't see anything and the ruler of the abyss seemed to be getting closer. And then, with a sudden burst of energy, he charged forward into the darkness, determined to meet his fate head-on. But it was clear that he was no match for the ruler of the abyss. He knew that it was way too strong. For anyone in this age to defeat, it was a daunting task. And he wondered if he was going to die here, in this dungeon. But as he thought about it, he realized that this wasn't a bad place to die. It was the deepest corner of a dungeon that no one had ever been able to subjugate. It was a fitting end for a warrior like him. Li Yuzhong ran towards No Yunha. He was relieved to see that her friend was still alive. But she could see that No Yunha was badly injured. She couldn't bear the thought of losing another friend.
Don't die, you idiot.
Li Yuzhong said, trying to keep her voice steady as she knelt beside her injured friend. No Yunha looked up at her, surprise written on her face.
What? Li Yuzhong, you were still alive. What are you doing? You need to run away quickly.
But Li Yuzhong wasn't going to leave her friend behind.
Shut up. I'm going to save you.
No Yunha tried to protest. But Li Yuzhong was already examining her injuries.
His injuries are too severe. It's a miracle he's still alive. A miracle. If I can cause a miracle, I can save him.
With those words, Li Yuzhong focused all of her energy and concentration on healing her friend. She had some knowledge of traditional medicine and started using it to treat the wounds of No Yunha. No Yunha sighed as he lay on the ground, his life slipping away from him.
So this is how it ends. The life where I vowed myself to take vengeance on monsters will end like this. I have no regrets.
As his vision started to fade, his thoughts turned to his partner.
I'm worried about my partner, who will be left alone. I'm sorry I didn't treat you well enough. I don't have lingering attachment, but I'm worried about that kiddo, who just became adult. She'll be left in a dangerous world by crying. Thank you for liking a person like me.
Suddenly, he heard a voice.
I won't let you die, even if I have to turn back time. I will save Yunha.
As he drifted off into unconsciousness, he knew that he could trust his friend to do everything in her power to save him. And that was a comforting thought, even in his final moments.
What's happening? Is this the afterworld?
He wondered as he looked around, trying to make sense of his surroundings, but it didn't seem like the afterworld. Something was different.
This isn't the afterworld.
He realized, it's not that he's doing nothing. He just can't move his body as he wants. He didn't die. He went back in time to when he was 1 year old. Turning back time was something that defied logic and reason. It shouldn't be possible, but as he considered the unlikely scenario, he couldn't help but wonder if it was a gift, a miracle that could make the impossible possible. As he considered the possibility of Yuzhong activating a miracle, he couldn't help but wonder if she had done so right before she died. After all, she was on par with the 12 thrones, and he wouldn't be surprised if she had the power to turn back time. The thought of seeing his parents again filled him with both hope and disbelief. Both of them had died when he was just 6 years old, attacked by vicious monsters. Ever since that fateful day, he had lived with an intense hatred for all monsters. But now, he had been given a second chance. A chance to change the course of his life and prevent the tragedy that had befallen his family. This time, he was determined to take matters into his own hands and shape his own destiny, even though he still have his memories before he regressed. He's just a baby. In other words, he can't do anything. His daily life consists of eating, sleeping and shitting. However, he finally have the chance to breathe. And that chance is the fact that he can roll over.
Yuna, you can do it.
This girl is No Yuna, his older sister by 4 years. The memories of his sister are foggier than those of his parents. But there's a moment he can remember it clearly. The day he lost his family to the monsters. Yuna held him tight, while saying, she will protect him.
Wow! Roll over success. You did great, my little brother.
His sister's interest in him was overwhelming. Mana is everywhere, even if it's just a small amount. It exists in the atmosphere. Before he regressed, he didn't have a lot of mana within his body. So he had a tough time. That's why as long as his body can endure it, he's going to gradually gather mana now.
Yuna, what are you doing?
But while doing that he found out something. His sister possesses a lot of mana within her body. However, if one has too much mana, they end up suffering from monopinosis, and it can be harmful to their health.
Okay, your sister will help you practice walking.
No, Yunha, at 4 years old, he's now able to walk and talk. There are more things he can do. And the time he spent outside of home has increased. Not only his sister is popular with other kids, she was popular with everyone living in our neighborhood.
Hey, no Yuna, why did you come? You didn't need to.
I was dragged here, Stick Minji.
Hey, I told you not to call me that. My name is Kim Minji.
Oh, be quiet. I saw a stick, so I called you that. How childish. I shouldn't have to play with children when I'm 30 to plus 4 years old.
The children decided to play cops and robbers.
Yuna, this is the first time you are playing cop and robbers, right? I'll teach you how to play.
Well, it's not bad seeing her smile. What is this? We are covered in dirt.
But it was fun, wasn't it?
A wild dog.
It's all right, Yuna, I will protect you.
A sudden memory from the past flooded Yuna's mind. It was a moment when his sister had expressed the same sentiment despite being afraid. Looking back on his past, he felt a wave of regret and shame wash over him. He remembered feeling powerless and unable to help those he cared about, but now, things were different. He had grown stronger and more capable. He vowed to protect those around him, especially the person standing in front of him, with determination in his eyes. He promised to never let them suffer like he had in the past.
Yuna, what was that just now? That was mana, right?
Don't worry, I'm strong.
I want to do that too. Teach me.
Okay, I will teach you.
Really? Yes.
He was going to teach her anyway. He had always wanted to protect her smile. But before his regression, when his family was massacred, he was only 6 years old. He knew he had to prevent that tragedy from happening again. He was willing to do whatever it takes to change the future. Yunha watched as Yuna struggled to control the spinning top.
That's not how you do it. You need to put in the same amount of strength in the same direction, so that it will keep its balance.
This is hard to do.
Yunha groaned in frustration. His sister was born with the blessing of mana and had hoped that his sister, Yuna, would excel at controlling it, but it seemed she had no talent for it. Life is fair in this way, he thought to himself. However, despite Yuna's struggles, she remained determined not to give up.
Just you wait and see. I'll definitely spin it well.
She still has a long way to go. While sitting in the living room and watching TV that evening, his mother suddenly spoke to him.
Yuna, you will turn 6 years old next year. It's time for you to attend kindergarten.
I don't need to attend one.
No, but you promised me, didn't you?
Yunha managed to not attend kindergarten by constantly whining about it. But he promised his mother that he'd attend kindergarten at the age of 6. Yunha can't believe that he need to be stuck among kids that cry easily and are boisterous. His head is already hurting. There's only 1 minute till the end of this year. Today is the moment that will leave a mark in the history of humanity. At Jongmyo Shrine, the final resting place of all the Joseon dynasty kings and queens, a new chapter in Korea's history is about to begin. However, after hearing the reporters on TV, No Yunha felt uneasy, because he was already aware of what was going to happen. After understanding how to use mana, humanity was busy utilizing it constantly. However, they were unaware that mana gathering could give rise to monsters, and in 1999, before the start of the 21st century, a disastrous incident occurred. This marked the end of a century. as Korea lost 30% of its population due to the incident. This event instilled fear in the bones of humanity, and people had to live with the constant threat of the monsters that appeared out of nowhere. The existing government and laws had lost their power in such a world. The only power capable of defeating monsters was manhwa, creating a new hierarchy in the world. Korea's true authority became the wealthy people and the players who had strong manhwa. They chased away the current authorities and emerged as the new forces of the world. However, a lot of damage had already been done by the time the situation had stabilized. Cities lost their connection to each other, and isolated areas had no choice but to wait for the monsters to destroy them. But in Korea, which was filled with despair, a small flame was lit. Goddess Lim Ga-yul, who used to be a famous actress, became the first-generation goddess to protect Korea. She possessed the ability to control the rampant manhwa and disperse it using her gift of white grace. All the players who protect the altar become the swords that defend Korea, known as the 12 Thrones. Although players are nominally controlled by the Manhwa Management Bureau, many of the more powerful players form clans and operate within them. Lim Ga-yul, possessing a rare gift that can stop monsters and carrying the public opinion of Korea, was chosen as one of the top players known as the 12 Thrones. Those who become one of the 12 Thrones, while belonging to a clan, use both the Manhwa Management Bureau's authority and their clan's power to gain control over the player industry.
Everyone among the 12 thrones, I am eagerly anticipating your future performances. Oh, gods of heaven and earth, please give us the strength to protect this country.
Right now, people are witnessing the unfolding of a cocoon. The hemispheric barrier that once prevented manhwa from going on a rampage is slowly fading, turning the skies of Seoul silver.
I want to go to the veranda and see that. Wow, Mom, the night sky so beautiful.
And when the people seen this miraculous event, they begin to close their eyes and pray that they will be able to live their lives in peace.
Yuna prayed together with us.
In Yuna's thoughts, he wondered to whom should he pray. In this world, there is no God. When the world ended in the past, the gods perished with it.
Please allow my family to live happily.
Yoon has smiled, solidly praying that he to desired a happy life with his family. On the day of the goddess calendar, No Yoon have turned 6 years old. Little did he know that the tragic incident that would cause him to lose his family was fast approaching.